Do you ever feel like you're doing everything right? Journaling, meditating, visualizing, but something invisible keeps holding you back? What if the block isn't outside of you? What if it's inside of you? Here's another question. When you think about your biggest desire, what's the first feeling that shows up? Is it excitement or is it fear? See, most of us don't realize that the stories we tell ourselves and even the way our nervous system responds to those stories can be the very thing blocking them from coming into our lives. And that's exactly what we're diving into today: how to recognize the biggest block that's keeping you from your manifestation or for what you want to create, and how to finally move through it. But before we get into this yummy episode that is going to help you a lot, I want to remind you to leave a review of the podcast. It is a simple and free way of supporting me and keeping all this information coming your way weekly. Plus, it is the way other listeners find me. I have a goal this year of getting more than 1,000 downloads a week. And when you review or when you share the podcast with your friends and your family, what you're doing is that you're helping me reach that goal. And it's very simple. You can just go where it says write a review and leave it there. Also, make sure to visit my website, michellemaripacheco.com, because it's full of resources for you and all of them are free. You just have to click on the tab that says free. You're going to be able to join the newsletter and also to check out the private Facebook community Rewire to Align that I invite you to come and take part of it. Okay. All these resources are free to you, friends, so remember to visit. And all the links are going to be in the show notes for you to check it out. Now, let's get started with the episode. Hello, beautiful soul. What beliefs do you hold about yourself that might be limiting your potential? In what areas of your life do you feel you are not living authentically? What fears prevent you from expressing your true self? In what ways do you feel disconnected from your higher self, and what beliefs contribute to this disconnection? Welcome to Neuro Soul Sync, a podcast that blends neuroscience and spirituality, exploring the connection of our spiritual and emotional lives with the neuroscience of our bodies and brain. I'm Michelle Marie, your host, certified spiritual neurocoach, IVF twin mompreneur, lover of human design, and all things personal development. A few years ago, I felt exactly like that, yearning to live on purpose and authentically. I wanted to live fearlessly, prioritizing my needs and creating a life aligned to my core values and beliefs. And I was able to master this through neuroplasticity, spirituality, energetics, and the exact simple tools I will share with you here. I believe that when we are in alignment with who we are, life transforms from stuck and resistant to a journey of flow, impacting not only ourselves, but the collective consciousness. So if you're ready to get in the driver's seat of your life, live with authenticity, and discover simple yet powerful solutions that will guide you from feeling stuck to fulfill, this is your sacred space. Let's get ready to vibe high, align, and manifest. Hola, amiga. This month, as you may have noticed, I'm sharing a few episodes from the vault, conversations I recorded earlier in the journey of this podcast that still hold powerful foundations for the work I teach today. As you listen, you might notice some of my language has evolved. When I originally recorded this episode, I spoke more about manifestation. Today, I would describe these same ideas through the lens of alignment as coherence, how your brain, your nervous system, your subconscious patterns, identity, and energy work together to shape your experience. So rather than listening for the words, I invite you to listen for the deeper message. You may hear concepts that feel familiar because they become part of the foundation of everything I teach today. I hope this conversation meets you exactly where you are. Let's jump into this episode from the vault. Hey, love, welcome to the podcast. My name is Michelle Marie, and I am your favorite spiritual neuro coach. I'm starting to introduce myself in every episode because I always forget. So that's it. I'm your favorite spiritual neuro coach. And today is the last Tuesday of August. What are you doing? And I cannot believe that we are almost in fall, almost in that last quarter as well of the year. So today, we're going to be talking about something that is going to help you move forward and, take advantage of this last part of the year so that you can move the needle in your personal development journey. And it's something that every single one of us has run into at some point in our manifestation journey. And it is that feeling of being stuck. Have you felt stuck, or are you feeling stuck right now? When you're doing all the right things, you're visualizing, you're affirming, you're journaling, you're clearing up, generational trauma, you're doing all these things, and yet your desire still feels just out of reach. If you ever thought, why isn't this happening for me? This episode is for you, because chances are it's not the universe holding out on you, because the universe is not like that. It is a block. And the moment you recognize that block, everything can shift and can get better. And let me just normalize this for a second. Blocks are part of the process, friend. Yes, I've had them, you've had them, we all have them. And usually, our biggest block is so woven into our beliefs that we don't even see it at first. For example, and I'm going to tell you a very simple story here. When I was going through my own season of calling in this beautiful and new career that took me so long to get here, right? Because I'm 51 years old, I kept saying all the right affirmations, but deep down, my inner voice was whispering, "It will never work, Michelle. It will never work for you, because doing what you love, it's a hobby, not a career." That voice, that imposter, that's my block. That was my block. So what do you think about that? That's not cool. It's not cool. And we have to be able to work through these blocks that we have in order for us to up level and be able to receive the magnificence that is out there for us. And I know that sometimes it's very difficult to work through the blocks, because that means that we have to open a can of worms sometimes from our past, but it is the only way to move forward. So the first thing we have to realize and understand is that the biggest block is often rooted in fear, like it won't happen, unworthiness, I don't deserve it, or control, I must force it. And I'm going to break them down so you understand better. When I talk about fear of disappointment or fear, the thought that if you go all in, if you allow yourself to really want it and then it doesn't happen, you'll be crushed. So instead, what do? You hold back. Number 2, unworthiness. This is the who am I to have this belief? And it can show up as self-doubt or guilt or comparing yourself to others who have it more together. And number 3, control and forcing. And this one sounds like, I need this now and it has to come this exact way. Let me tell you, friend, when you're gripping so tightly, you're actually blocking the flow of receiving. And you can go back to several episodes that talk about manifestation, and you can find those in the episode catalog and go through all the universal laws that I have spoken about. And you can see this principle. The more you chase, the less that you're going to attract, right? It's like having that boyfriend or girlfriend that is always telling you, oh my God, I love you, oh my God. And they're chasing you and they're chasing you and you're like, oh my God, I can't deal. And you want to repel them. That's exactly what this concept is about. And let me ask you this. Do any of these sound familiar to you? Which of these 3 is the one you most resonate at the moment? For me, in the example that I gave you about jumping into this beautiful career and that imposter coming to me saying that doing what I love, it's a hobby and not a career, that was unworthiness. That was unworthiness for me. So make sure that when you are doing this awareness process of looking at yourself, which of these three is it? Which of these roots? Is it fear? Is it unworthiness? Or is it control? Now, let me bring this to life with some everyday scenarios to help you start identifying these. For example, let's talk about money. You want more abundance, but every time you look at your bank account, panic kicks in. You start hyperventilating. Well, that panic tells you, I don't feel safe with money, and that's a block. Let's talk about love. When you're calling in a partner, but you keep repeating the story, all the good ones are taken. That story keeps love very far away from you. And let's talk about health. You want to feel strong, you want to feel energized, but deep down you believe, oh, well, change never lasts for me. That belief is going to make it very hard to take the aligned action you need to get better in your health. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with all of this? Now that I gave you these examples, do you understand how your blocks are holding you back? And here is something I wish more people talk about when it comes to manifesting, and is about your nervous system. You can be saying all the affirmations you want in the world. You can be preparing and writing those vision boards, put it in the closet, put it in the, refrigerator in your bathroom. And you can be taking action. But if your nervous system does not feel safe with what you're calling in, it will unconsciously push it away. And remember that I have mentioned before that your brain and your nervous system have only one goal, and that goal is to keep you safe. Think about it. If every time you think about money, your body floods with stress, with panic, your system is basically telling you, this is unsafe, let's avoid it. If every time you imagine love, your chest tightens because it reminds you of a past heartbreak, your body's like, nope, I'm not going there again. This is why we self-sabotage, friend. So the block isn't just in your mind, it's in your body. And that's why regulating your nervous system is so important, because when you calm your body, you create a sense of safety around receiving. And when you feel safe, your desires don't feel threatening, they feel possible. And another thing that I want you to also remember is that usually these blocks comes from older versions of ourselves that have gone through trauma in childhood, teenage years, right? So we have to make those versions of ourselves feel safe, because if not, they are going to run the show. So you can go back to episode 4, which is all about inner child. And I will leave the episode about nervous system regulation so that you can have this practice as well. And you can combine it with this episode and start, releasing the blocks that are holding you back. Before we move forward with the last part of this episode, let me remind you that joining the private Facebook community Rewire to Align is a great opportunity for you to meet other like-minded souls that are in your same journey, right? We need accountability partners. We need people that understand what we're going through. And the way to do that is to join a community that is there for you, supporting you in your journey. And that's what Rewire to Align is. And I'm going to leave the link in the show notes for you to check it out. And also, after listening to this episode, remember to leave me a review. It's super simple. If you're on Apple Podcasts, the way to do this is to scroll down where it says write a review and leave me one right there. And while you're leaving the review, please go ahead and share the episode with your family and friends. This is the best way you can support me and help me grow this podcast. I have a goal of growing the podcast, and that's the way you can help me. I will be forever grateful if you can do that. Now, let's get back to the last part of the episode. Okay, so far we have covered the 3 main types of blocks. I gave you real life examples that can help you understand how to identify the block, and I told you about the nervous system role in manifestation. Now let's talk about 5 ways to recognize what is blocking you in your own life. And this is where you grab pen and paper, or you can come back to the episode later. Number one, and I'm going to go fast here. The number one is to recognize your triggers. What situations, people, or outcomes make you feel frustrated, jealous, or doubtful? Triggers often point straight to an underlying belief like, it works for others, but not for me, or I'm not ready yet, or I cannot do it. So make sure that you're noticing your triggers. Number two, pay attention how you speak to your language. Listen how you talk about your desire. Do you often say things like, it's too hard, I'll never be able to, or it always goes wrong for me? These phrases reveal the subconscious belief driving your reality. Number three, watch for patterns and loops. Ask yourself, what cycles keep repeating in my life? Is it money struggles? Is it relationship struggles? Is it health struggles? The block is usually the belief fueling that cycle. Number four, we have to tune into our bodies. When you visualize your desire, what sensation shows up? Is it tightness in your chest? Do you feel your stomach sinking or tension in your throat, like resistance? Because that resistance, right, is your body's way of saying, something in me doesn't feel safe receiving this. And that awareness will help you identify the block. And number five, journal prompts to reveal the block. And this is, remember that I think last week I talked to you about morning pages where you write freely and you don't edit and it's basically a brain dump. If you practice morning pages, trust me, you're gonna find that block. So you can also use your journal and write, the reason I cannot have what I want is because, and finish that sentence. Another one that you can do, if I did have it, the worst thing that could happen is, finish that sentence. And the third one that I'm going to give you is, deep down, I'm afraid that, finish that sentence. After you write your sentences, what you want to do is that you're going to read your answers. And once you read your answers, you're going to realize that your core block will pop out. Okay, now that you have these 5 ways that you can identify your block, there is a very quick practice that you can do that it's easier, right, when you are on the go. And I'm going to give it to you so that you can find that, or that you can spot your biggest block quickly. Number one, name your desire, and you have to write it as clear as possible. And then the second thing that you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself, why don't I already have this? And the third thing you're going to do is that you're going to notice your first honest answer, because that raw response that comes in, not the polished one, and the raw response is usually the block. And let me give you an example how this works. For example, my core desire is that I want a loving partner. And when I ask myself, why don't I already have this, is because people always leave me. And when I notice my first honest answer, what is the block? What is the block, friend? The belief that love isn't lasting. You see how this works? And what I want you to do today, if you can, is do the simple exercise and find out what is the biggest block holding you back right now from having what you want. You can do the 5 different ways I told you. But if you want to do something really quick and really simple, this is the one exercise that can help you. And then what you're going to do is that you're going to come to my social media, and Instagram is my favorite hangout, and you're going to share it with me. Send me a DM. Michelle Marie Pacheco is my handle. Or you can come to Rewire to Align, that private Facebook community that I've been telling you about, and share it with everyone, because remember, by sharing our journey, we are also helping others. Okay, now that we can see the block, we can shift it, right? And I am going to give you 5 tools that are going to help you for shifting. Actually, 4 tools. And the first one is the awareness journal prompt that you already know, which is to write the following sentence and finish it as honest as you can. The reason I don't have what I want is because. Don't overthink it, friend. Your first raw answer is going to show you the block. The next thing you're going to do after you find that block is you're going to flip the script. You're going to take that belief and reframe it. And let me tell you something. There is something here that goes a little beyond that, right? We have to explore where this block is coming from. And usually these blocks or limiting beliefs come from earlier experiences and childhood as well. But remember, these are probably things that we have learned from society, from people, from friends, from parents, from caretakers, from teachers. This is not ours. Usually, they have been projected onto us, okay? Plus, we know that those versions of us live in the past. So we don't have to carry these versions of us in our future. We can release them. So make sure that when you are flipping the script and when you are reframing the belief, you also leave that version of you behind. Release it. Forgive. Any work that you need to do to be able to really believe the new affirmation. For example, if you say, I always struggle with money, and that's your limiting belief because you saw that your parents struggle with money, go back, do a little research over there in the past, do the forgiveness that you have to do, and then release that version of you and come back to today and reframe that belief and say, I'm learning to attract new opportunities. It doesn't have to be a huge leap, just a softer thought that your mind can accept. But remember that you also have to do the digging, okay? And many of the episodes in this podcast talk about the digging and how to go back and release. So visit the episode catalog that it's in the show notes so that you can find those. Number 3, you're going to do a safety check-in. When you think about what you want, about your desire, about what you want to manifest, notice, where is the resistance? Where is the resistance in your body? Maybe you have tightness in your chest, or maybe you have a knot in your stomach. I mean, sometimes I have knots in my stomach, and that's how I know. Place your hand there in that part of your body. Breathe in and say, it is safe for me to receive. It is safe for me to receive. Take this pause and do this because this is going to tell your nervous system that it's okay to let good in. You see how powerful this practice is? And number 4, micro proof practice. You have to show your subconscious that it is possible by starting small or finding expanders that can show your subconscious, right, that it's possible to have what you want, because the brain needs proof. It needs to see to believe that it is possible. So, for example, if love feels impossible, start by allowing yourself to receive kindness from a stranger. Sometimes we don't want to, we are shitty receivers, and that's the truth. So receive kindness from a stranger or a compliment from a friend. And when somebody compliments you and say, oh my God, you have beautiful hair, don't say, oh my God, really? Because blah, 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 because this happened or my hair is dirty. No, just say thank you. We have to start receiving in a good way. If money feels blocked, celebrate it. Every small little inflow that comes your way, even finding 1 cent on the sidewalk, be grateful for that. Celebrate it. Because remember, the more you get into the gratitude attitude, the more you are going into the abundance vibration. Each little piece of evidence starts rewiring your belief. Yes, you can find expanders that also show you that it is possible for you. And my friend, isn't neuroplasticity amazing? Do you remember neuroplasticity? Go back to the episode on neuroplasticity so that you can learn more about it and harness its power. So here's the takeaway for today. Your biggest block is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's showing you exactly where to shine the light, what needs to be worked on. And once you see it clearly, you have the power to choose differently. Remember this, awareness creates choice, and choice creates change. All right, if this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to take a few minutes to journal on the prompts I share, to do the practice that I share here so that you can find that big block that is hindering your process. And if you uncover a big aha moment, come share it with me. I love hearing your breakthroughs, and you know how to do it. Social media, Instagram is my hangout, Michelle Marie Pacheco, or the Facebook community Rewire to Align. Okay, friend, it's time for me to go. It is my wish that this episode serves and blesses you. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. And thanks for sharing this episode with your friend or a family member that needs to hear it. And remember, living in alignment is a journey. Keep leaning into the process. Keep trusting yourself and keep opening your heart to receive. You are magic, and I'm sending you love. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I love creating it. If what you heard helped you, the number one way you can thank me is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. My mission is that you feel empowered and more spiritually connected after listening, so your feedback means the world to me. Just scroll down to where it says write a review and leave me yours. And if you love what NeuroSoulSync is about, please share with your family and friends. I believe the world becomes a better place when we come together collectively to make the change. I look forward to be with you next week.